Welcome back, folks. Happy Monday. I hope you're having a good holiday, spending time with family and friends, reconnecting with people. But I wanted to give a little bit of history about today, Memorial Day. It has been the last 49 years that it has been an official federal holiday. Prior to that, it was in the waning days of the 1860s, just after the Civil War, during Reconstruction, when it began as Decoration Day to honor fallen Northern soldiers after the Civil War. It began slowly in different towns on different dates. It was minimally official for a while, being that there was no proclamation. Local communities would sometimes be connected to each other. I mean, it was really just an informal honoring of the war dead. The Civil War is still the bloodiest American war in our history. Pretty much, I believe it will stay that way just because every single death, regardless of which side they're on, was an American death. So quite literally 100% of casualties were American. Not even the Vietnam War has eclipsed the number. And Americans were shocked by this. They were shocked that it had happened and how long it took. And it began just as a way to honor those who had fought for the Union, although there are still remembrances for the Confederate soldiers in battleground states from the Civil War. Even to this day, there are the reenactment troops still reenacted, and there are still people who remember the Confederacy and those who died on that side. Every death was tragic. But in 1971 would have been, I believe LBJ. I believe it would have been LBJ because I know, it would have been LBJ. Nixon was elected in 72, so LBJ declared it an official holiday. It's now every year on the final Monday of May. It is the unofficial beginning of summer, and really is just a day set aside to remember those who have served in the U.S. Armed Forces but never made it home, regardless of where they served. It is for those who fell in the line of duty. And if you think about it, that now includes far more than just wartime. Not many years ago, we had an attack at Fort Hood by a coward. And there were people who died there. Their day of honor is Memorial Day. And it's very important to remember the distinction between Memorial Day and Veterans Day. See, on Veterans Day, that's the day we honor my father, my grandfather, all but one of my great uncles, and several cousins and friends, those who served and then came home. My great uncle Coleman was a tank commander in North Africa against Erwin Rommel, the Desert Fox. Had a bullet in one of his legs from that encounter. And then went on to serve at Normandy. Took a bullet in the other leg from that one. And then made it home. While Roland, another of my great uncles, paratrooper, fell on 8 June 1944. Never made it home. His body is buried in France. And I will be there one day to see the site, to visit the sands of Dog One where Coleman landed, and just see something that still is a reminder of one of the bloodiest things to ever touch the planet, that being war. Patton said it absolutely perfectly. War is hell. No sane man wishes for war. He talked about putting your hand down and finding a puddle of goo that used to be your best friend's face. No sane person on the planet wishes for war. But war, unfortunately, is not avoidable, and it won't be until the millennial kingdom and the new heaven and new earth. Because you see, as long as evil exists, and evil is simply an absence of good, and as long as differences exist, as long as people are unique, then we will have disagreements. And there are people who, sadly, truly believe they have a right to subjugate the planet. And when they're denied this, they start to kill. And you can't reason with those people. There is a reason that there is the old adage, sic vis pacem para bellum. If you want peace, prepare for war. You cannot reason with some people. There are some people that the mere threat of force will cause them to stop. There are those that you have to go a bit further and show them that you can use that force. A great example of this would be firearms. There are those where you say, I will draw. You haven't exposed your firearm yet. But you use a statement, I will stop you. And there are those, very minimal, very few, but there are those who can stop at that point. There are those you have to put your hand on the weapon or draw and point to prove that you are a half second away from firing to make them stop. And there are those, sadly, that you could be aimed right between the eyes, finger on the trigger, safety off, begging them, just walk away a few paces and get on the ground, or I will shoot you in the face. And they won't stop. And that is why war is unavoidable, because there are those that you cannot stop without permanently stopping them. And as long as that exists, we will have militaries. And as long as the militaries exist, sadly, we will have people that we honor on Memorial Day. I wish it wasn't true. I wish that it was a perfect world, but it's not going to be. So while you're relaxing at home, sleeping in, or just not going to work today, while you're with your family and friends, or whatever else you're doing, take a moment to remember all of those who have fought and died wearing the uniform of the U.S. military, serving under the ideals of liberty, freedom. Just take a moment and remember them. If we could all have the mindset where we stop and we actually think about why we are free to speak our mind, why we are free to protest, why we are free to worship, you might be surprised just how fast there are people who stop screaming and yelling that you will or will not do certain things. I just don't know that it'll ever happen. Until next time, please remember to let me know what you think in the comments, but be civil. We are not here to act like toddlers, especially on a day like today. So be civil. Please remember to like and subscribe so that you're part of the channel, part of the giveaway, and so that the algorithm sees that the videos that you like are the ones that you want to see more of. As for me, I'm going to go cure these hiccups, and then I'm going to finish my laundry, and hopefully get back to my book. I've talked about the Hunger Games in the past, and this book is giving a very interesting prequel story. So I am planning on updating my Hunger Games synopsis and review, if I'm ever able to finish it. Until next time, have a wonderful day.